To an update tonight. In court today, a man tied to an East Texas gang and a December murder. DeQuarius Hilburn is one of 3 people accused in the death of a 32-year-old Longview man. As KLTV7's Katie Parker tells us, Hilburn could soon have his bond reduced for the second time.
1 murder, 3 suspects, one of them appearing in court today. DeQuarius Rashod Hilburn is charged with the December 27th murder of 32-year-old Byrondrake Davis. The judge announcing a bond reduction hearing and a potential trial date.
This matter is now set for a bond hearing on August the 17th and for a jury trial February the 8th of 2027.
That is correct, Your Honor.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right.
Right now, Hilburn's bond sitting at $500,000.
That's a fairly lenient bond for a murder. They're usually $500,000 or above on a murder case.
Originally, Hilburn's bond was set at $1 million. An April hearing reducing it to half of that.
You want to get your guy to jail, and we understand that as prosecutors. So they filed bond hearings to try to not to so much pressure us into getting this thing indicted, but just let us know that they're there and their person wants out.
Back in December, happening in the 100 block of West Highland Avenue, Longview police found Davis suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He later died at a hospital. Hilburn was arrested 3 days later, remaining in jail for the past 8 months. In early January, Chasmon Rayson was also arrested in connection to the shooting, and in February, Jonte Lilly was the 3rd person arrested in Davis's murder. An affidavit reveals Hilburn as a member of a gang operating in the area. Jailhouse phone calls made by Hilburn led to the identities of other suspected gang members accused in the murder. Katie Parker, KLTV7 News.
And while for now, trial is set to begin February 8th, District Attorney John Moore says that could easily